And unfortunately, big tech, the most deep-pocketed, godlike technology in the world, is trying to convince young men that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life online. Why go through the pecking order of trying to establish friendships when you got Reddit and Discord? Why put on a tie and navigate the corporate world when you can trade crypto or stocks on Robinhood or Coinbase? And why would you go through the effort, the expense, and the potential rejection and humiliation of establishing a romantic relationship when you...
After a long time, a completely honest guest shocked Bill Maher by speaking raw, uncomfortable truths right on his show. Professor Galloway clearly explained why many American men are moving away from old-school masculinity and adopting a softer identity. It's a bold conversation, so watch until the end. It stays intense throughout.
I mean, just for example, the number of men, I didn't realize this till I read the book, the percentage who live at home still, live with their parents. What are those numbers?
It's about 30% of men under the age of 25, 1 in 3 are still at home. 1 in 5 are still at home by the age of 30. So, yeah.
Is that economic or emotional or both?
Yes, it's one. Men aren't. I mean, effectively, what you have is they're up against this indomitable enemy, and that is 20% or 40% of the S&P is now 10 companies whose primary mission is to get you as glued to a screen for as long as possible. Any minute they can keep you on a screen longer is billions of dollars. And a young man's brain, which prefrontal cortex is less mature, is more susceptible to that need for dopa. So what we've literally done, Bill, is unwittingly built an economy which is dependent upon our ability to evolve a new species of asocial, asexual males.
Bill Maher asked an important question when Professor Galloway talked about why so many grown men still live with their parents. People often give simple answers, but the real issue is much bigger. Some men stay home for emotional reasons, but most do it because life has become too expensive. This financial pressure didn't just appear, it grew slowly as society changed. Expectations for men shifted, yet the support around them did not. Jobs feel less secure, pay hasn't improved, and men are told to stay strong while also being criticized for it. Maher's question revealed a deeper truth. Many men aren't failing, they're trying to survive in a world that no longer values the roles that once gave them stability.
And what you have is big tech, who is not our friend, is trying to sequester people, especially young men, from the most important thing in their life, and that is relationships. So essentially...
But the number one thing men are afraid of is girls.
Yeah.
It's not lightning, it's girls.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about that rejection of going up to somebody, like you say, cold, and you just have to get through that. And I feel like we are further from that than ever. I mean, kids don't even want to answer the phone.
Yeah.
They find that a little too alarming, unless you text first.
40.
Really, because that's passive, because you answer, nobody sees you, they don't see your reaction, you don't have to come up with conversation.
100%. 45% of men 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. 63% of men under the age of 30 are not even pursuing a relationship. And if you think about the most rewarding things in your life, I mean, the things that really matter, they are essentially relationships. And what do they all have in common? They're really damn hard.
One big reason relationships feel so complicated today is the belief, shaped by modern culture, that women no longer need men in their lives. Real feminism, meaning equal rights, equal chances, and equal respect, has always been valuable. But in the last few years, a louder and more extreme version has gained attention, shifting the message away from balance and towards the idea that men have little to offer. Entertainment industries have added to this mindset by constantly showing men as unnecessary, replaceable, or even harmful in movies, shows, and celebrity opinions. This constant portrayal has changed not only how people think, but also what they expect from a partner. As men and women try to adjust to this new reality, confusion keeps growing. Both sides feel unsure about what roles they're supposed to play, and the gap between them gets wider. Many are left wondering how to build healthy relationships in a world where the rules seem to keep changing.
And unfortunately, big tech, the most deep-pocketed, godlike technology in the world, is trying to convince young men that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life online. Why go through the pecking order of trying to establish friendships when you got Reddit and Discord? Why put on a tie and navigate the corporate world when you can trade crypto or stocks on Robinhood or Coinbase? And why would you go through the effort, the expense, and the potential rejection and humiliation of establishing a romantic relationship when you have...
Galloway has a point. Big tech isn't innocent at all, it's actually a major reason people feel more isolated today. Over the years, tech companies have built apps that keep us scrolling instead of spending time with real people. This shift has led to rising loneliness, stress, and sadness, especially among young men who already feel cut off from others. Instead of forming real connections, many disappear into online spaces that offer quick attention but no true closeness. And with AI chat companions becoming more common, avoiding real relationships has become even easier. Tech promised connection, but in many ways, it has left people more alone than ever.
I believe, slowly but surely, we're going to start to see fewer and fewer young men out in the wild because they're going to decide to sequester. And if I could say anything to young men, it's that the anxiety and depression you will eventually feel in your basement sequestered from other mammals is far greater than the fear of anything that lays outside of that room for you. Get out of the basement, get off your phone.
Did you notice Maher's silence at the end of that clip? It really stood out. For once, he had no sharp remark or clever response because Galloway had already said everything with undeniable honesty. You could almost watch Maher taking it in as he sat there. And that quiet moment said more than any joke he could have made. Young men today aren't drifting because they're lazy, they're struggling because they feel unseen, overwhelmed, and unsure of their place in the world. That's why Galloway's point matters. Young men need encouragement to get outside, form real connections, try new things, and live fully instead of disappearing into games, social media, and online distractions. Life is waiting, but someone has to remind them they still belong in it.
What is the panel's reaction to the turmoil at the BBC over how they edited Trump's January 6th comments? Well, they did do him dirty. There's no doubt about it. They purposely put together something to make it look like he didn't say what he said. Or
the tragedy is what he said was bad enough. Why did you have to doctor it? I mean, I don't understand it. It was, well, you know.
Because that one to me was never a smoking gun. Now, do I think he should have handled January 6th differently? Very much so, I do. But it was always, you can pull out the thing where he says peaceful protest. Yeah. He uses the word peaceful. It was always murky. To me, the crime was always simply never conceding the election.
And calling up the Georgia Secretary of State and saying, find me 11,000 votes.
But that wasn't that day.
Yeah. And waiting for like 3 hours to try to call the mob off.
Right, but I'm talking from the whole time the election was over until this very moment, he still hasn't done it.
I understand that seeing Bill Maher speak up in Trump's defense probably upset many people on the left. But facts don't change just because someone dislikes the person involved, and that's the real message here. If you say you support honesty, then it shouldn't matter who delivers it, ally or opponent. Maher's moment stood out because he wasn't suddenly supporting Trump or dropping his longtime criticisms. He spoke up because, in that situation, Trump was being portrayed unfairly, and Maher refused to go along with something he believed was false. Whether people agree with him or not, that level of consistency is rare in today's highly divided politics. It takes real courage to speak the truth when it risks upsetting your own audience, and Maher chose to do exactly that.
Traditional media does a better job of fact. Don't we hold them to an entirely different standard? Fox News knows that they're spreading misinformation about voting machines being weaponized by Hugo Chavez. They knew it was a lie. They continued to promote that misinformation. They get fined $750 million. What happened on Fox was a dumpster fire compared to the nuclear mushroom cloud that happens every 3 minutes on social media. 2/3 of Americans get their news from social media, and yet they are held to absolutely no standards. And when the BBC fucks up, our hair's on fire. Why on earth are we not applying anything resembling the same standards for algorithmically elevated content to these quote-unquote nascent platforms? I get that the BBC screwed up, but by that standard, where we're getting 2/3 of our news screws up about 1 million times a second.
Mainstream media has the staff, money, and tools to dig into stories and check every detail long before anything is released. They have full teams, editors, researchers, and producers whose entire job is to make sure information is correct. Independent creators online don't have the same support. Many work alone or with a tiny team, with limited time and very little access to reliable sources. Expecting them to reach the same level of investigation as large news organizations isn't realistic. That doesn't mean influencers should spread false information, they still share responsibility for what they post. But the larger obligation belongs to the institutions built for serious reporting. When mainstream media gets things wrong, the consequences are far worse, which is why they must be held to a stricter, more reliable standard.
New rule, let's make the Father's Day we just celebrated the last one that takes place in a culture where dads have become such punching bags. Literally the last demographic group that TV, ads, and movies can still depict as clueless, useless dipshits. Basically just another child that mom has to look after. Every sitcom is, tonight on ABC, Larry burns down the house. And the tagline in the commercial for every household product is basically, because your husband is a
Exactly, and that's what I was trying to explain earlier. TV shows, movies, and especially ads have played a huge part in slowly lowering how men see themselves. It isn't loud or obvious, but it happens again and again. Men are shown as clueless, messy, immature, or simply unnecessary. The forgetful dad, the helpless husband, the grown man who can't function without someone fixing his mistakes, these images appear everywhere. After a while, they shape how people think. When a society laughs at men for simply being men, it wears down their confidence and self-worth. What began as harmless jokes has turned into a damaging message. It's sad to watch a culture that once respected male strength and responsibility now treat those qualities as something to mock. Men deserve more than constant put-downs disguised as entertainment.
I'm not sure when this trend started, but I'm going to blame the 1987 movie 3 Men and a Baby. The premise of which is that 3 grown men can't manage to keep a baby alive. The same year gave us Married with Children, with its idiot shoe salesman of a father, followed by an endless parade of eye-roll, short-bus dads, Homer Simpson, Family Guy, Modern Family, Malcolm in the Middle, Everybody Loves Raymond, Home Improvement, According to Jim. And it's not just the old-school broadcast TV sitcoms. It's everywhere. It's highbrow streaming stuff, it's major motion pictures, it's minor motion pictures. It's in everything.
And that's true. Hollywood has played a big part in slowly weakening how men are viewed. For years, many films, shows, and celebrity voices pushed ideas that painted masculinity as harmful, outdated, or something to laugh at. Instead of showing men as strong or dependable, the industry often turned them into jokes. Now, after spending so long sending that message, Hollywood suddenly seems interested in celebrating positive male qualities again. They're trying to show stronger role models and give young men a clearer sense of purpose. But honestly, it feels late. The damage has already reached deep. Many young men feel lost, unsure of who they're supposed to be or what society wants from them. Hollywood helped create this confusion, and repairing it won't be quick if it even happens.
I know, I don't have any kids. I made a different choice in life and decided to have money. But all these shows, they can't all be lying about what it's like to have kids.
Your EQ is off the charts, Nick.
Aha, Nick. I'm Nick now. What happened to Dad?
Well, I don't know, Nick. What happened to Dad?
Asshole. Hate coming here.
Why are you acting so dickish? I mean, it is only $10.
Bro, do you hear how they talk to me? Do you hear how you gotta say something?
Whoa, hold on. When are you guys planning on coming home?
By 11 or 12?
Yeah, same.
You know you both have school tomorrow.
Oh, that's true. We do. Yeah, he's right.
Solid parenting, Dad. Come
on. When you look at everything together, the situation becomes clear. Masculinity in America didn't fall apart on its own, it has been slowly weakened by cultural changes, media influence, extreme ideologies, and the pull of technology. Professor Galloway simply said out loud what many men have felt for years but never had the space to express. Hollywood turned men into jokes, tech pulled them away from real life, and certain modern feminist voices acted as if men had no place at all. At the same time, major news outlets shaped public opinion without addressing the impact of their messaging. So when Bill Maher sat in silence, it wasn't by mistake, it was recognition. The truth was obvious. Young men aren't the enemy, they're trying to find direction in a world that has blurred their sense of identity and worth. Fixing this means helping them reconnect with real experiences, real relationships, and genuine purpose. It means correcting cultural imbalances, not defending them. And most importantly, it requires honesty, even when it challenges your own side.